Back in my day. Back in my day.
Back in my day.
I actually had a good band on my podcast.
Oh. Well, I can't argue that.
No. Welcome to the Boomer Sit podcast, where I have today Illyria from Perth, Western Australia. Boys, introduce yourselves.
What up? My name's Matt. I'm from Illyria. Play drums and make it seem like I do stuff.
Hello, I'm Ilya. I'm the guitarist and vocalist of the band. And we also have with us...
I'm Greg. I play the strings.
What strings? Violin?
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, we're like Navel of the Scars.
That's progressive.
Oh yeah, dude.
We don't fuck around.
Black Holes Part 1 is a good song.
And who are you?
Yeah.
Why have you brought us here?
I don't know, dude. I just walked into your house this morning. Ilya, let's do a podcast. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just happened to have all the equipment in my car.
Well, come on.
Thank you, George.
Get the introductions out of the way. Let's go.
Oh, that
Alrighty.
smells oniony.
Oh!
I'm glad to be right next to that.
Oh, thanks, Greg.
Greg is always good at providing the farts and burps of the band. I think he's the main character for that.
We haven't been on a tour yet. I'm kind of fucking dreading it, to be honest.
It'll be a filthy time.
Alright, boys, so what are your plans? I know you've had your album out for a couple of years now, but you're recording another one.
Recorded. Oh, there's still a little bit to touch up on.
Oh, there's some vocals left to go.
Yeah, there's still a few things left, and we got some...
A few little admin-y things, like, nothing exciting.
But yeah, it's been a very slow, drawn-out process because we've made lots of decisions. But
Serious decision time.
off the stage, on the stage, in the studio, outside the studio, lots of decisions to be made. But we're slowly getting there. We finally, since the start of this year, in 2018, we've decided to be a DIY band when it comes to recording, doing our own marketing, trying to get rid of the middleman and the third party. That's why things have been taking so long, because we're busy bees, you know?
But there's way less headaches involved.
Yeah, we're all on board, so...
It's much more fulfilling when we can, like, sit down and decide what we want as a band without arguing with a third party, such as a producer saying what we want and probably not end up getting exactly what we want anyways.
And
I think Daniel's done a really
speaking-
great job on that behalf.
Yeah,
taking
that's
over.
one
Speaking as a
thing-
producer, telling you what to do and what not to do. Matt, don't breathe into your mic. Sorry, I just thought I'd segue that in.
But I will say this, though. Daniel, our bass player, has stepped up into the whole production duty. Sorry, I had to burp. But
Why didn't you let it out?
why did I let it out? Oh, because I'm not George. But
He has that title.
yeah, I know. The most difficult thing is that we just sort of had to play the waiting game a lot with these producers, and waiting a day or like even a week for an email to give us all these, MP3 files, and then thinking, oh yeah, we could patch up on this, work on this. Whereas now, because we are in control of recording and producing, we can instantly change it and fix it, so we don't have to play the waiting game anymore. So yeah, and plus we're doing real drums now, so that worked out really good.
Yeah, we took the program drum route on the first album because we just had like no idea that we were actually going to do stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
Is that a fair enough?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
plus the band wasn't really solidified at that
Okay,
certain
yeah.
point. I did all the recording up in Brigadoon with our producer Jeremy, and I sort of felt like, this next one I want to feel like it's a 5-piece.
Yeah.
So we've decided to do that decision now. Hey,
And Daniel knows the exact sound that we're after. So, yeah.
Yeah, like
we're happy with basically everything he shows us.
yeah,
Daniel's
And you
great.
told me that you've added more orchestras and stuff to it.
yeah, we're still waiting on those final orchestras because I think we just bought a new software, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it
finally
came
been
out,
installed.
Yeah, it was the contact thing, wasn't it? It was the Complete 12. So we're
which just came out.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing it. So even we don't even know what the final product of the album sounds like. So, we're listening to these demos and it's cool. Like we've got a nice template of but we wanted to sound $1 million. So we really can promise you that that's what's going to happen.
Oh, it's better off waiting.
Big promise.
No, it's better off waiting to deliver a good product rather than rushing it and then delivering something that's possibly not as good. Matt's dying at the moment.
I'm just like thinking that hopefully this new contact software will sound mint but Daniel just invested like so much fucking money into that. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, I know. We're hoping it can last a lifetime, but
It will last a while and it will sound good.
yeah,
That's
that's our mindset. We're just trying to stay really adamant on the fact that everything's going to sound really good, but we'll be surprised if if we get scammed pretty much,
However, I must say that your keys notes that you were showing us at band practice sounded good without the new software. So with the new software, I'm very excited.
The way we recorded it with using the MIDI keyboard was basically a live recording of me playing it, and then we quantize and do all that little touch-ups later. So everything we played was genuinely, in some form or way, composed by us.
Yeah.
We weren't just tinkering with a mouse and a keyboard going, oh yeah, this will sound fine. We're actually playing on a keyboard, or I was. But I'm sure that, not really that it matters that much because it gets edited anyways, but it's going to sound, I think it would sound good. It's that final nail in the coffin, I think, when it came to the music, because when we heard the demos, it was missing that little bit of edge. Like, it sounded very thin, because when you hear the first album, there's a lot of layers and textures, and we're finally finishing that bit, so it's good.
And how different does it, sound-wise, how different does it sound to your first one?
I've heard people say that to them it sounds more atmospheric, more epic, more just generally open, I guess. It's hard to describe, but I guess it's just it grabs ideas from the first album and makes them and explores them further, as cliche as that sounds, but I think that's just generally what we've been receiving.
It sounds like 5 people in a band now.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Not
more
just 2.
textures.
It actually sounds like a band, like it's a million times more organic. It doesn't sound like a computer.
Everyone's stepping up now. It wasn't just me in part of the production process. It was everyone, and bass is now actually properly done.
Yeah.
The first album was just me up in the studio just hitting the basic tonics and like just thinking, oh yeah, this will sound fine. But now it's like, oh yeah, we got Daniel now, he's ripping it, and you got Matt on the drums, and it's sounding really real. There's actually dynamics now, and not everything's at velocity 127. But and then when it came to George and James writing songs as well, you can hear their styles now. It's 5 different musicians writing an album.
So it's a proper collaboration.
Oh yeah, it's got that feel, but it still honors the first album sound.
Yeah.
But we're just broadening the horizon.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely steps into new emotional territory, both from a lyrical and musical point of view, I reckon. The songs themselves sound a lot different to each other, but they work together, in my opinion. So, like, in compared to the first album, I feel that a lot of the songs sort of complemented each other almost too much. But in this second album, there's a lot of diversity, and they just all sort of go around the place.
Yeah, that's good speaking to you, Mike. I know it's very hard to manage breathing and speaking into Mike.
It's alright. It's like reminds me of that Tay Zonday Chocolate Rain song in the video where it's like chocolate rain, and then he just breathes away from the
I'm gonna do that. Fuck.
But it's all pretty good. When it comes to the recording process, though, we have fun. We're also writing still. Like, even if we've got the second album finished, we've had it finished for like a year and a bit now, and we've already started writing for other endeavors in the future.
You have sent me some guitar profiles?
Yeah. Hopefully nothing's been too leaked, but
no.
I think what's cool about that is we're always constantly doing something with Illyria. It might look like we're a bit quiet, but we've just always got something, around the corner. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Because we don't live on social media.
Yeah.
That's true.
We're really busy outside of music as well. Most of us already finished university and working in a full-time environment. Some of us are still at university studying in a full-time environment.
Yeah.
And I got fired yesterday.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And some of us now have lots of free time, so now expect to have more productivity.
That's if we don't just do heroin in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, but most of us have a fear of needles, so that's something we have to worry about that. But when it comes to the other things that we're doing, we really do enjoy playing shows, except I think we're having a bit of a break now because we're preparing for the album launch.
Yeah,
so we've got to really polish playing these new songs in a cohesive unit.
I'm pretty happy to not play shows for a while because it gets pretty tedious.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like a fun hobby anymore. It just feels like you got to be there and just fuck around for a while.
Yeah, and plus I feel like we really want to start playing with different musicians and not just with the same old folk. Sometimes you just need to have a bit of a break, you know. And that's not trying to disrespect other bands. It's just that, you know, it's quite the grind. But yeah, we like having that sort of casual enjoyment out of this, you know, and trying to balance other things in our lives. So yeah, we're not too stressed.
That's
hope.
good, yeah. And where do you see this band going?
Yeah, we've already made it. Like,
Yeah.
we've already played with Alcest. We're just like, everything else now is a fucking bonus. Like, we've already released an album.
Yeah.
Everything else now, I'm just like, you know what? This is awesome. I'm loving everything because now it's just a bonus.
Yeah.
I don't know about how other people think, but
What
Yeah.
do you guys think?
I've always wanted to tour internationally with this band, although it can be a little bit challenging with our work and current study arrangements. But hopefully once we iron everything out, there'll be some chances for that.
I'm the same as Matt, but if neither of those things ever happen, then at least we got to do everything else, so that's good enough.
yeah, I
Most
mean,
people don't get to play in band anyway.
I'm not ruling out that, you know, sorry guys, because we've already ticked off everything I wanted. We can't
Yeah.
tour anymore. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that everything else now is just, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Especially for the goals. Like, okay, so I haven't ever toured with my own band.
Yeah.
Like, that is something that I do want to do. So I guess that's another
Yeah.
bonus that I would love to tick off.
Yeah, because you've toured with Iconoclast.
Yeah, I've done all that type of stuff where I've played with other bands and toured around. Even during school, like I toured around the country playing in a jazz band with drums. Like that wasn't
Yeah.
my own music though. Like I want to be able to, you know, with
Yeah.
Illyria at least tour Australia. If we do a little bit extra, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not having high expectations because if you do, you're just gonna get disappointed.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we're just baby steps kind of band, aren't we? We just like to take things as it goes.
Also, really love not putting my entire life into the band.
Yep.
Because that also equals disappointment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also I think the best thing with this band is that we're not just friends in the band. Like we go out and do things.
Yeah.
We go out eat somewhere. We go hang out. Like we don't have to just do band things with each other.
We jack off into each other's mouths.
Yeah, like straight up. You know, like not even a blanket for decency. Just straight up.
Wow.
Man, tour's gonna be fucked. All right. Yeah, but yeah. Besides that, everything's pretty chilleria. You know what I mean? So
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
punny.
Yeah. Well, mind you, speaking of Chilleria, we haven't done an acoustic set with me yet.
Oh, that's
Get those
right.
arrangements
Can we
done.
get that sorted?
Get
Yeah,
those arrangements
cheers.
done for the new song.
Yeah, good. But,
Get the grandpa guitars ready.
yeah,
Ooh,
and your
yeah.
Cajun drum, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see,
Oh, is that the one you...
I was in
Yeah,
Europe
wooden
last
box.
time
Yeah, I
that they
remember,
played.
yeah.
I didn't get to actually do it, so I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, shout out to Waste Not for helping fill in for
Oh,
me.
they did such a great job at that. Waste Not, best post black metal band in Perth. Fuck Illyria.
Yeah, straight up, they're better than us at it. They're better than us at it, not at it. Sorry. But yeah.
That's happened so many times.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
But I don't think we can classify ourselves as post black metal anymore. I know
don't
that sounds
what
bad.
we are.
Yeah, we're just sort of melodic, atmospheric metal. Like,
I hate it when people ask me what sort of music we play, so I'm just like, you have to figure it out when you hear it.
I usually just resort, like, if it's like a 40-year-old mum asking me, I try to make it as easy as possible for them, and even then I still think it throws them off. I just say atmospheric metal.
yeah, no. The thing with me is that if let's for example, a boomer mum asks me what type of music I play and they want to listen, I put on a song like Sarum or Wonder where it's like really soft, and then like if a deathcore kid comes up to me and goes, "Oh, what kind of music do you play?" You just put on like God of Chaos
I knew you were
or
gonna
like
say that.
Temptation.
Yeah.
So like we have that versatility and repertoire in our band where we can play whatever the fuck we want, and we won't have any repercussions for it. Like there's a song for everybody.
Yeah.
I think.
If a baby boomer asks me what sort of music, I just say hard rock.
Yeah,
That's because like they can't
they
don't
can't
know anything
fathom
about it.
anything.
That
Yeah.
literally is
I just say hard
technical
rock.
as it goes.
And
for
then
them.
he'll say, back in my day.
And even then, when you say
Back
hard
in
rock,
my day, hard rock bands didn't have that screamo.
even when you tell them that it's hard rock, they're like, "Oh, that
pretty
might not
scary.
be very good on the ears."
And what do you mean? They're
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? They're like death metal. You mean like that Nickelback stuff? And it's like, dude.
What, like Ozzy Osbourne?
Oh, dude. Like honestly, the thing that scares you the most is that you show them something like Necrophagus or something. They're probably like, their heads are probably going to explode. Oh,
That's
but
one band I haven't listened to in a long time.
yeah, if they could
listen to-
hurry up and like release just a single, honestly, that'd be good.
I was reading their
It's never gonna
Wikipedia
happen.
page the other day, and the
That's
the
kind of weird, but yeah.
vocalist is an engineer at BMW.
Ah, yes, okay, yeah, that does make sense
Yeah.
actually because they are.
They're not coming back.
Yeah, nah.
Man, even looks like he would work at a place like BMW. Have you seen that guy?
Well, he is German, so I'm guessing he would work for a
He's like-
German company.
He's half German, half Turkish, isn't he?
Isn't that full German these days?
Not
But
wrong.
yeah, but no, that's just a joke. But I mean, the cool part with death metal is that even that's got a wide range. Like you can show Opeth, and you can
Yeah.
show like, I don't know, Abominable Trinity, and be like, that's both death metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, anything else at it? Any other questions you want to hound on us?
No, I'm done. No, so just feel free to talk and promote and promote and promote.
All right.
Promoting.
Well, what are your influences for this album?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough
I
one
reckon we
because
should break it up by individuals.
Yeah, yeah.
George, do you want to start?
Go for it, George.
I need to think. I need to think.
Alright,
yeah,
about
okay.
that
Well,
one.
for
you
me, I listened to a lot of Between the Buried and Me.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of like, lots of that progressive metal core sort of ish sort of sound, like the Between the Buried and Me, the Protest the Heroes.
Yeah.
I was going through a massive Nebula Viscaris phase, I know for a bit, and I guess even though it doesn't sound like it, I do staunchly agree that I did get influenced by lots of bands like Gajira and Children of Bodom. Even though it doesn't sound like it, trust me, when I wrote it, I was looking at those kind of bands. When it came to non-metal influences, I started listening to a lot of like, I don't know, indie sort of math rock sort of stuff, to keep it really basic and not go too deep into the 4chan music sort of thing.
Can
Just
I
like
ask?
that American football and
Yeah.
Mogwai sort of thing.
Was the song Echo Flower from our album, was that sort of influenced by those sorts of indie bands when you were going through that math rock phase? Because that song's got some odd time signatures and sort of those like
Widdly diddlies.
yeah, those sort of even chon sounding
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, and
chords.
I mean, I was gonna get to that. A lot of instrumental, like guitar virtuoso music, like Chon and Pliny, is like. Actually, you know what? Every single band that like we listen to at band practice, like anything on your iTunes, for example, or any band like we've ever played with, we just go through this massive phase where we like listen to them.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we played with Hexes, and all we did was listen to like really chaotic shit, and then
Yeah.
like I make a song like The Final Bastion. So there you go.
Mm.
So. You know, I feel like we're giving away song titles, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
People can really look forward to it.
Hopefully.
I don't think I had any bands in particular. I think I just like subconsciously made stuff up that kind of just. I don't even know.
What about for drumming? Like honestly, like Matt, you go
Yeah, for-
0 to 100 pretty quick.
For drumming influences on this album, I actually had like halfway through writing the album, I really started getting into Alcest, which is what Illyria and George were already into by the first album.
Yeah.
But when I was programming the drums for the first album, I wasn't quite into Alcest. I'd never even listened to them. So I was more between the Buried and Me during that time and other progressive bands such as Gajira's, mentioned by Ilya. But in album 2, it was sort of the same at the start, like Gajira and Between the Buried and Me. But then when I started getting into bands like Alcest and other post-rock bands, I started really like simplifying my drum style, but while also trying to retain some of the progressive stuff that I learned from Between the Buried and Me and bands like Gajira and stuff like that. So really it was just a combination of technical drummers and simple drummers and just whatever worked for the song.
It's actually really cool that you said that because everything that was my influence in the first album is now your influence in the second album, and everything that was your influence in the first album is my influence in the second album.
We got a weird
And
sort of crossover thing.
It's
happening.
actually
I
really
like
cool
it.
though because one of the songs that we actually did record on the Illyria second album was actually a demo from our old band Navaki, which is very technical death metal, but we simplified it a lot.
Yeah.
That's not to say it's not hard. It's still a pretty hard song.
But it was harder.
it was more like, just the fast techie bullshit that kids love.
But we definitely took it back a bit. We got out of the driver's seat, became a passenger, and really enjoyed the ride a bit more now.
Yeah.
Like because Matt and I did play in a band together in the past. We did play that technical death metal, deathcore kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't hate that. I've always had that. Like for example, like that song that we wrote was like me when I was a massive Fallujah fanboy, you know. You can tell, you know, it's that clean atmosphere with that technical distorted chugging over the top and the drums going, you know, MIA.
Yeah.
And then he's all of a sudden just going full ham. So, you know, the cool part about this band is that we have the freedom to write whatever we want, and we can find a way of making it work.
So that's really good.
Because that's all we really want for at the end of the day, just a way to play whatever type of music we want. And but I also like how Illyria doesn't go too far out of its sound. Like, although we try to explore as many sounds as possible within the band, I like how it's got its own distinct sound, and I'm all about that. So I love how we've, in my opinion, been able to capture consistency and progressiveness in our second album. So, yeah.
And that's one thing that we do want to clarify, is that we don't really write songs for other people. We sort of do it for ourselves to make ourselves happy, and we like that we can just please ourselves first of all. If anyone else enjoys it, they can enjoy the ride too. But we do it because we want to have fun, and we love making music together. And we are our worst critics, we are our best critics, and that's the only way it should be, really. We don't really care what anyone else says. We do it because we love it.
I probably hate your band, are also pretty big critics.
Who? I think they're defunct now. Aren't
Oh, really?
They? Yeah,
Oh, wow.
dude. I think Neighbour of the Sky sued them.
Really?
Yeah.
They deserved it.
Yeah, because Brendan, the bass player, that got kicked out.
Oh,
They made a
I think I
hate
heard of
piece,
this.
like fake news, and apparently it never ever happened. So there you go. I used to be a reviewer on their
Yeah, I
website,
remember that, yeah.
and I actually left way before that all happened, because there was a change in management. There was a new guy there that came in. All I have to say is that he is from Melbourne, and I'll just leave it there. Not hating on the city, but some people there, I just feel like just get a bit too overboard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Whatever overboard means, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's up to interpretation. Yeah.
That's what art's all about, really, interpretation.
Some of the Facebook groups associated with that page was absolute pretentious wank as well.
I remember when I was in
disgusting.
Conform, like,
It was
the amount of
disgusting.
drama that used to happen in that, like, whole...
And it was all caused by random cunts that live on the other side of the country that just talk shit on Facebook.
And they were just flinging shit at each other, like monkeys in a typewriter. Like, they were just, literally just, like... It was the best of times, it was the blurst of times.
Yeah.
Like, it just... Oh my goodness, yeah. Social media is one thing that we've definitely valued as a tool, I guess, to keep everyone informed, but then you can't go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I had some problems in the past when it came to my personal profile, but now I've just really taken a step back. I just use Instagram now as my public persona, and I just use Facebook for managing the band and just using Messenger.
Right,
So,
yeah.
and when it comes to business offers, we just really try and make sure they use our Gmail now. Like, you know, if you want to email us for anything, just music.illyria at Gmail.
I think if you receive a Facebook message from a page, it's probably not going to be that serious. I think serious offers are always going to be emails.
We don't interpret it as serious compared to an email.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the few gig offers that we've gotten through Facebook message, within the first few sentences, you can just tell that something is not completely right. I much prefer email.
Yeah, when it starts with, "Hey, are you interested in playing this?" and it's like,
Yeah.
why are you offering this now? Like, you know, the show's in 2 weeks. Like, you know, it's like, we prefer having everything set out to us on Gmail
That being said, though,
with
like,
documents attached.
That being said, though, like, if you must send us a message on Facebook, we'll get back to you in a day or so. So don't worry.
Typically replies within a day.
Typically.
Maybe we're just used to the formal sort of layout of a proposition, rather than going, "Hey guys, you want to play a show?"
Because everything gets lost in Facebook. That's the problem. Like, a message on Facebook does not stick in my brain as much as an email. And I think that's why email is much more professional and just better way to communicate things like shows and planning.
Well,
anything important, really.
I always say to myself, would a band message a bookie or a touring company on Facebook? or would they email?
I bet they do. I bet they
I
do.
hope
Oh,
they
they
don't.
would.
I hope they don't.
Please sign my band. We released a 3-track demo that we recorded in my mate's basement.
But I mean, I just feel like if the bands uphold professionalism, then I hope the bookies do as well. So we're just trying to create a good gigging culture in a society that I know I just did the whole "we live in a society" thing, but I just think that if the bands step up, I think everyone else will step up. So.
And how do you find the gigging culture here in WA?
Oh, it's a roller coaster.
It's pretty messy and not very committed. Like I don't know about most people, but a lot of people don't want to be there from when the doors open because they're really busy. They live far away, or they care more about getting dinner and having a beer. So the first 2 or 3 bands might not have a very big turnout until like the headlining band. But I think,
Or it might be the opposite as well.
could be the opposite.
Like the bands will, like the first 3 bands will play, and then like everyone else will go get drinks now, and then they're so derelict that they don't even stay for the headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe the headliner's a Subway band, and all the other bands just feel sorry for them.
Speaking of that, for people that don't understand in Perth music, a band being called a subway band is actually a historic lingo dating back to the HQ days of Leaderville, a famous all-ages venue here, where there is is Subway still there in Leaderville, or did it move?
Yeah.
Always going to be.
No, I'm pretty sure it got turned to a tapas bar or something like that.
I actually think it did
Yeah,
get
it did.
turned
It got
into
turned
a
to tap.
bar.
Anyways,
Oh, wow.
historically, a few years ago, there used to be a Subway in Leaderville across the road from HQ, and there was always that one band on the lineup that everyone goes, "Oh, let's go to Subway." So getting Subwayed is basically where the audience would basically not watch you, and go to Subway instead. And sometimes, unfortunately, every band in some lineup will get Subwayed. But I remember one time at HQ, this is actually really funny, is that I remember Sanzu got Subwayed.
What?
Sanzu got Subwayed at HQ, and I was like one of the only like 10 people in the room watching Sanzu for like the first time ever. And the next day they like headlined the Civic.
It's a sad thing, like how a joke of Subway ban turns into an actual problem, like
Yeah.
of bands not being seen.
Yeah. And
probably-
they're signed to Prosthetic as well, which is a French metal label, and they got Subwayed at HQ. Like, it's crazy.
Well, that's because HQ's for people that like post-hardcore and deathcore, and Sanzu aren't either of those. So.
Yeah, there is a different culture in HQ back then, but guess what it is now? It's now all that underground rap with the
Really?
trap beats
Wow.
and the distorted bass and the random like skra.
I thought wasn't there a pretty big like indie scene in HQ these days? Like,
There
I haven't
was.
been following it.
I know. I don't really. I mean, it's a shame because as soon as you turn 18, you just go to 18 plus venues. Like you hardly go to HQ. Like I hardly go to HQ unless I'm playing.
Apparently there was a good HQ show the other day.
Yeah,
from-
some fundraiser.
Yeah, some
Vacant
fundraisers.
Home, I think.
Vacant Home show.
Yeah, but I heard good things about that.
Shout
one.
out to Vacant Home because you know what? They're actually doing a lot of things that some other bands don't do, which is actually reviving the all ages scene. You know, I really tip my hat off to them. They're doing a great job. Like when they play Hyperfest and they're playing on a really small stage, they're taking, you know, people that are going to main stages, the energy that they bring, and going to some smaller stage. Like they're battling it in a cool way, and I really appreciate that.
Wow. Agreed. God, I miss going to gigs.
Yeah, you really need to come back, dude.
Cause, like I got that all.
The only
out of my
time you ever
system.
come is when I door spot you.
Cheap.
Shalom.
Cha-ching. Yeah. But
No, because I got the gigging stuff out of my system like 4 or 5 years ago. I used to go to every single gig every
well, I
weekend.
mean, you went to Tulsa, didn't you? In Finland.
Tuska. Yeah.
Tuska, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I swear I saw you at a few HQ shows before I even know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Must
Yeah.
have seen me.
It's always that's the thing though. Perth is such a small city. We've got such a small scene.
I do like how, there definitely is some friends from the HQ scene which have stuck around ever since I've turned 18, and I was going to HQ since I was 15, and they've stuck around and they're still going to amps shows. Some of them are in bands, and we still play shows with each other every now and then. So going back to your question of how's the gigging scene in Perth, I think it's really cool how a lot of the original people that I knew from HQ have still stuck around playing music or going to shows as well.
And also because everyone's getting older, it's more mature. There's less of like petty conflicts and stuff like that where
definitely.
people used to like not go to shows because my ex is gonna be there or something like that, and they're gone for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And you're just missing on that one special buyer that could just maybe buy a shirt that day and you get a little bit extra. But it's a shame that stuff doesn't happen anymore, which is good in the 18 plus scene.
George's beard sounds amazing.
You're not really used to microphones, are you? It's because
I can't hear myself.
we're a microphone stand band, you know. So
Yeah, just bring
That's
one.
the sound of a beard.
yeah. So
A neck beard.
that's also another thing as well, is that because I'm a guitar vocalist, I actually don't get to hold the microphone and have to worry about feedback or anything like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have some vocalists here that will just like walk around and all of a sudden you're hearing this hissing
Yeah.
from the speaker. We don't have to worry about that, which is good. The only thing they have to worry about is that we've got 3 guitarists on stage, and the
Yeah.
sound guy always gives us this dreaded look, like
Oh,
Only-
remember
only
the time
sa-
at the Boston?
Yeah, the
sound
Boston
guys that don't
one.
know what they're doing.
yeah, the sound guy at Boston really got shitty at us.
Because
what
we
do you
didn't. Because we apparently we didn't communicate to him before the show that we had 3 guitarists. Like, I didn't even.
When it wasn't really our job. It
Yeah,
was,
is it really our
was-
job?
it
Like,
was
it's
the
more
promoter.
the promoter.
and
Yeah,
the promoter thought the opening band was meant to sound check first, but forgot that the headliner gets the check. Anyways, yeah, that's
Yeah,
one of those
the
examples of
promoter
don't get shows from a Facebook Messenger proposal.
Yep, that was from Facebook.
That's the classic example. We're going back to that. Stick to emails and stick to phone calls and stick to using professional.
House
layout.
shows
Traditional.
on a cucumber farm.
Yeah,
And put some effort into your emails, for God's sake. Like,
Use
don't.
spell check. It's fucking built in.
Jesus.
your. Honestly, it still gets me.
Yeah, no
And
shit.
there, and there.
And could have, would have, should have. Like instead of like they put of instead of like the apostrophe ve. Yeah, that really gets me. But I think if bands were more professional, they'd get treated a little bit more. You know.
If people actually created bands that were like more original and not sounding like every other bloody band in the country, like, yeah, let's start a post-hardcore band, and then every single song they bring out is exactly the same. It's like, congratulations, you're so original. I'm going to listen to you every day.
Well, that's actually a really good point, because that's the Australian music culture in a nutshell. Like I remember
Like
when like the early 2000s, you had like I Killed the Prom Queen, Parkway Drive, right? They like came out and they surged through, and mind you, bloody awesome bands. And then like that wave of all the bands that were trying to ride on it, like that all came out. Like I think a very sad tragedy is a band here like Avira Skies, for example. You know, like they put in a lot of hard work, and we played shows with them.
Yeah.
Really hard workers. I think they went to England also to record, didn't they? Like, and now vanished because you got to be ahead of the game. You know, you can't. I know people always say like a good artist creates a great artist copies, but you've also got to make sure you got to improve and make it better too. You can't just have that one-dimensional look.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I do enjoy with that band, is that we're trying to, even though we're trying to ride on a culture that already exists, which is that post-rock atmospheric black metal, we're also got ourselves, hang on a second, we've got to think 2 years ahead. You know, what else is there that we can do? You know, so... And we take a very long time to release our music, because we do take a lot of time to write it and record it. So sometimes these songs...
And even just plan like many other aspects of the release, such as music videos and artwork and T-shirts. So that is why we have been taking so long to release this album. But we're nearly there, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's Maximus. Hello, everyone. But some of the songs in album 2, I wrote when I was 18. I'm 22 now. These songs that I wrote is like a time capsule from like 2014. So I'm releasing them in the future.
Yeah.
You got to have that in mind. Is what's the climate going to be of music in 2018, 2019?
4 years. Yeah, it really takes time.
So you've really got to think like it might sound cool then,
Yeah.
but then is it just going to disappear into obscurity? So we've really got to have it nice and stand up from the rest. So we like to have that ambitious attitude when it comes to our music. We do have that pride, I guess, in our work. But also, we're very casual and relaxed in the sense we don't stress ourselves to death over it. Like, we don't care. Like,
If someone can't make it to band practice, we don't get angry at each other.
nah.
It doesn't.
But then
It
again,
doesn't matter too much.
then again, we don't have lame excuses when we don't rock up to band practice. Like, we don't just say, oh, yeah, nah. Like, we're sort of like, oh, no, my car is unfortunately in the service, getting serviced. Like, you know, we'll say something like that.
some
We've
of
all heard that one, mate. I fucking know you're talking shit,
Some
mate.
some of us work like 10 hours a day, and it's like, I'm just too tired to go to band, or I can't be bothered, which is fair enough.
It's, yeah.
Besides, a lot of the communication happens over the interwebs. Don't need to be in person every week. And
Health first, anyways.
Yeah.
They've always been about that. Like, if anything pops up, you know.
if we need to practice, like sometimes I'll just get on the kit, chuck on the click tracks, and practicing to a click track is basically like practicing to a band for a drummer anyway. So win-win for me.
Whereas for me, playing along with the song on the computer, it's better than not practicing at all. There's some things that I do cherish from practicing and rehearsing as a full band.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's way better.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm saying if we have to.
Yeah. But we sort of accept that, hey, this isn't everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'm essentially a bedroom guitarist, so like rehearsal and playing shows is like the 5 to 10% amount of the time I spend on guitar. So
Yeah.
that's like a special treat for me because everything else is played at a very low volume with headphones on.
And we do make sure that we do capitalize on those moments when we do play as a band, like you know. But yeah, the love of our music isn't just from playing in a band. It stems deep into the ground. You know, it comes down to us playing. Playing with ourselves. But yeah,
So mature.
that's why I do love Illyria though.
Oh yeah.
It's my baby, you know.
It's my baby.
But I know that Matt and George and
Yeah, we fucking hate it.
you guys have other projects as well, don't you?
Yeah,
Nah,
how's
Larry-
statues going?
Statues. Yeah, come on, let's talk about. Come on, Matt. Let's hear what we have to say about statues.
Statues is going. We've actually just started writing our next release. Don't know how much I'm allowed to say yet, but it's going to be in terms of just in case no one's aware, Statues is a chaotic hardcore band playing. But in terms of musical direction, their new stuff is going to be more sort of groovy. I feel like groovy is a word every band uses to describe their next release, but we definitely are going to try and make this one more groovy, more hip-hoppy, and more rap, I guess, infused with hardcore and chaoticness. So it's going to be interesting, I reckon. But other than that, we're just playing shows and had a cool show with Xavier the other weekend at Jackrabbit Slim's.
Great venue, by the way.
Great band.
Yeah,
That is a
definitely
great
one of my
venue.
favorite
Great
venues in
great
Perth.
band.
Yeah, great band. So yeah, Statues has been gone quite nice actually. Just doing those things, shows, and starting a new release. How about your project, George? You got some brewing in the works with David, I believe.
Yeah, well, we got like an EP or a demo's worth of music written, so it's like 15 or 20 minutes. But yeah, we're just rehearsing, and it's taken a little bit longer than I wanted because of this Illyria album. But it's all just like 2-minute long punk music, so it's fun. I can just like I can shut up,
Maximus.
Shush.
Oh,
Okay.
I can stray away.
hang on.
I can stray away from the technical guitar playing and just play some fast power chords. That's always fun to get out of your system.
Yeah.
And basic drum beats because I play drums as well, so I write basically all of it.
Doesn't James also help you out?
Oh, he's jammed with us a few times, but he just plays what I tell him to play.
Oh, okay. So it's sort
I'm
of.
the main arranger,
Yeah, that's all good. So it's sort of like me with Illyria. No, I'm-
basically.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Nah, it's all good. We all have our duty in the band now. I think everyone's got an equal sort of presence now and everything. George is the guy that we let people reply on Facebook Messenger to.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. We're like, oh, George, we've got another message on Facebook. Yeah, all right. But, you know, Daniel's doing production. James is definitely the more hands-on kind of guy. Like, he's always the guy that we're like, hey, it's your turn on merch.
Yeah, James is a great PR person. I don't even know if he fully realizes it. Just comes natural to him.
He is the face of the band.
Okay.
He's definitely the one that the girls swoon for.
He's a very good socializer.
But you know, hopefully, yeah. Alex, nothing wrong there, don't worry.
James is such a good socializer to the point that promoters, like even if it was me emailing the promoter leading up to the show, they would just start talking to James like in personal message about the show. It's just like, mate, he's not even involved in this. How come
And I think the ratio when it comes to like when we have photographers take shows, the ratio is normally about like 40% James, 20% me, and then everyone else gets a photo.
basically.
Yeah, and then when promoters come to James comes off and goes, why is he talking to me so much? Why can't he talk to you guys?
Yeah. So James he's very quiet and shy when it comes to the music stuff, but when it comes to, he
Such
doesn't
a
realize
funny guy, though.
he doesn't realize how much of a important public figure he is for us.
He brings the humour to band practice. as
Oh
well.
yeah, his accents are some of the greatest
Oh, he's
I've
a
ever heard.
comedian.
Like his filthy Manchester and Scouser accents are always the best to go for. It's a shame he's not here because I know he could definitely pull him off right now really good.
Yeah.
Oh man, but
Get it next time.
we'll have to get him another time. Hey, at it. But
Tomorrow
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. So, any gigs coming up, boys?
nah, nothing at the moment. Hey, like we are really going under the radar now. We're preparing for album launch,
Yeah.
marketing for it all, PR, promotion. I guess I don't want to give away too much.
Marketing, PR, and fucking.
It's all the same,
They're
but
all the
it's all just like, you know. Okay, we're working on a music video, okay? But it's really freaking difficult to plan out because we don't know because it's our first one ever. You've got to consider the fact that people are going to know who you are now,
Yeah.
as in they're going to look at you. What style are you going to go for? Like, do you want to be dark? Do you want to be light? Do you want to be silly? Do you want to be serious? Like, these are the things we finally have to settle down now because it's going to be a music video. It's promoting us in not just an oral aspect, but visually.
Yeah.
And that's
that
not
was-
just to fans, that's to businessmen as well.
Yeah.
And they got to see us and go, hey, can we market this correctly?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of our conversations that we've been having a lot lately. Is just deciding on like a consistent brand, like sort of a marketing approach that we want to take for all aspects of our music. Because we believe that a good band definitely has a recognizable branding to them, if that makes sense. Like, look at Kiss. Like,
Mhm.
their brand is just it's
Iconic.
You think about the brand before the music.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
just
true, actually.
that's an
I hadn't thought
example.
about that.
Yeah. And I mean, we've had experiences in the past where people have like helped us out. Like, for example, we used Evergreen Artists
Yeah.
for our first album to do PR.
Yeah, great PR company. wouldn't
Great
recommend
stuff. They helped get us a lot of exposure. Indirectly, also because, you know, once those things spread out, you know, we got listeners from Japan, we got listeners from Russia. We sent a CD to Central America where it cost us more money to send it than the money we got back from being purchased. So like, and that's fine. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, we appreciate that. We also had, when I was in Conform's managed by Olivia Geoffrey as part of Match's
Yeah.
Music, and I asked Olivia if you wanted to just check out what Illyria is like or whatever for a little bit, and she just went, I don't need to manage you guys got it all sorted.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciated that she said that because I think when it comes to our vision as a band, we're all on the same page, and we don't really need anyone in the sense of managing ourselves here. But we also consider the fact that if we're going to expand into bigger things, then we'll definitely need someone to hold our hand for us. You know, it's sort of like it's like moving to a new school. You know,
Yeah.
you need that buddy to like show you everywhere. But we've discussed about, you know, staying independent or, you know, getting managed or getting,
Yeah.
you know, labels or whatever and stuff like that. We just realized that we want the music to speak for itself, but we also
Yeah.
want to put in a lot of work ourselves to make sure the music gets as much recognition publicly and privately, you know, towards the
Yeah.
big rigs, how they can handle it, you know. So,
How
Matt,
do you
anything
get-
to say? Because you're the market of the band, really. Like,
Finishes a degree in marketing, has to become the marketer of the band. Fuck, what have I signed myself up for?
yeah.
No, it's alright. I reckon, yeah, like in terms of our decisions, marketing based, I think we just got to make sure our product, aka our album, is completely solidified. We got the music ready to go, we got the branding ready to go, and once that's all ready to go and looking good, we're going to hopefully send it off to as many big wigs as possible, and we can get some grants to go on tours. That would be the dream,
Yeah.
really, because, you know, you can easily dig into your own pockets and spend thousands of dollars doing a DIY tour to 20 people per state, or you could spend the same amount of money on perfecting your album and the marketing that goes with it, and hopefully
Getting more orders on Bandcamp, you know.
yeah, and hopefully more attention will come to you, and then that's when you can start doing the touring, when it's
Yeah.
actually more of a feasible option.
And I think this is advice that I think I want to give to other musicians that are listening to this and other band, like people that are in bands, you know, don't be yes men. Don't just say yes to everything that comes to you. You know, we get offers to do lots of stuff, but we also sit back and think, hang on a second, what are the long term, what are the short term results from this, you know? And if the cons do outweigh the pros because you've got a different vision in mind, it's okay to say no. We get lots of obscure offers from around the world. Like, I think recently some Malaysian project said, do you want to do a split? And we're like, the idea of it's like, yeah, that's cool, we can network with some Malaysian band. But then we're like to ourselves, hang on a second, we're releasing an album, like, you know. Well, where are we going to slot this, you know, like, and you know, you get the obscure labels from Colombia and Russia going, hey, you know, we'll sell your album.
So it's Con Brazil.
Yeah, you get offers from like labels, from like really obscure labels, not because they're obscure in the sense that it's just obscure because they're not in Australia. You get a Russian label that will go, hang on a second, if you sell albums with us, you'll get this much money, and that's only because you only keep like 15%. But then it's like you sell more, but you still make the same amount of money because if you release independently, you will just keep everything you want. You know, so you just gotta think very carefully of, you know, the long term, the short term, the pros outweighing the cons. Don't just be yes man because an opportunity arises. That's like, you know, because one girl gave you attention, you've got to be with her now. You know, like I don't know.
Also, we will never, ever, ever pay to play.
Yeah,
that is
we
the
are
worst
very
thing you could ever
staunchly
do.
we are very staunchly against that. We don't care if other bands do it. Like, hats off to you. It's your life.
Your wallet.
Yeah, but we're not in a situation where we can do that because we value other things in our lives as well.
Correct.
You know, I'm not saying that we're family men. We've got like 7 kids to feed. I'm just saying that, you know, there are other things in our lives that we also take into consideration of, and forking out money to play a show in some other place. Yeah, it's cool, but not our kind of shtick.
Yeah. And you mentioned Bandcamp earlier, and it's such a good platform.
It
You
is.
get music, merch, and just really good.
We only use it as our store. Hey, boys.
Yep.
Yeah, we only use Bandcamp for selling merch and selling
insane.
music. We don't use like Big Cartel or anything like that. Hey, like,
No, you don't need to. I reckon less,
is more.
like less things that people have to click on. So like other websites is just better for everyone. It's just more convenient.
Yeah,
That's why I
because-
like
That's definitely
Bandcamp.
true,
as
yeah.
well.
I've seen Bandcamp profiles where it sends you a link to Big Cartel, and I'm thinking, why don't you have everything centralized? Now it's just putting me off having to even make the effort of clicking on the link. Like, I want
And-
everything right.
And
in
the
front of me.
modern day, like, person, like,
From
of
that
our
person's
age bracket,
point,
we don't have the attention span for that crap, you know?
We'd much rather just like watch porn and hate our lives.
Yeah, and honestly, that's another we live in a society moment. But, you know, the interesting part about it all is that, yeah, we like to keep things simple, only because everything else we do on our behalf is so damn complex. We want to make sure the listener has such an easy time listening to us. Don't have to understand all the hard work that goes behind it, all the decisions that go behind it. We want to make it really easy for the listener, because you've got to remember, even though we've listened to these songs for like 2 years now, like some of these songs we've written ages ago and we're finally going to release it, there are people that are going to listen to it the first time, you know? And you've got to cater for that. Like, some of us are like, oh, I'm already sick of this, you know what I mean? Because we've been listening to it hundreds of times. Like,
Yeah, I don't even know if it's good anymore.
yeah, so like we've got to just like get it out there and just accept that these people are gonna listen to it the first time and they're gonna enjoy it like it's Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, it's not special for us because we're already on the grind for album 3 or album 4. You know what I mean? Like, we're already past that all. But these people are gonna experience it first. You're gonna have that mindset where it's like, voila, here it is. Enjoy it, but we'll move on. Straight on to album 3 for us.
Sorry, just being a millennial and using Facebook. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Half the world uses Facebook anyway.
Apparently, I was hearing this. I was reading this thing on the watching this thing on YouTube the other day. That apparently the effects of social media. Like, someone feel free to challenge this. Is why I bring it up. Apparently, the addiction of social media can actually cause permanent reduction in being able to concentrate on anything in life. So, because the problem stems from the fact that people may be playing guitar, for example, but then every 10 minutes they're checking their messages,
That's me.
and their concentration is actually only halfway through the guitar activity that they're doing, and the other half of their concentration is towards the phone. So therefore, no one's really concentrating properly anymore because of social media.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. Like, okay, so if you want to know something about me, I'm trying to become a primary school teacher, and in a primary school, you don't really need to check your phone that much. And there are some other, fellow prac students that, I put my phone in like the locker storage area because I don't really need to look at it until like recess and lunch, like a dedicated time where I'm allowed to. By the way, recess isn't for the students, it's for the teachers. Fun fact, you all got played on. You all got played on. But, so I'm seeing other fellow prac students just whipping out their phone mid-lesson, just checking out like, what messages they got or whatever. And I'm just like, I even saw a girl, I'm not naming names, I saw a girl Snapchat mid-lesson. Couldn't believe it.
My teachers
Couldn't
in high
believe
school
it.
would do that. They'd check their phones.
Yeah, and I just
Long
don't
time
think
ago.
I just don't think in a professional environment we don't have the same work ethic as older people.
Back in my day.
Fucking
Yeah,
boomer.
look, I get it. I'm being a hypocrite because yes, you're right. Even when I'm recording in the studio, I will look at my phone after a take. Like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? But
Yep, that's why the album took so long.
yeah,
Nah,
because I was just on a massive.
maybe I'm not.
I was just on a massive 4-day Skype binge. No,
That sounds like something you'd do.
it would be something I do, except it would be Discord. Let's be honest. But the most difficult part for me is that I can identify that there are problems that we have, but I don't do anything to fix it.
Yeah, well, they're not even that bad. It's not like we're freaking like meth addicts.
Oh, yeah. I always say to my mum, I always go to her, she's like, oh, this, and that. And I go, at least I'm not waking up in a dumpster, mum. Like, I just... yeah. Oh, man.
But
Yeah.
I definitely agree that social media ruins your concentration. Like, my concentration is buggered because, yeah, when I practice guitar, I'll be like, every 5 or 10 minutes, open up Facebook and I'm thinking, why am I looking at this? Like, nothing's refreshed. I've received nothing new worth reading. And it's like, I'm wasting so much time by not concentrating properly.
Yeah, it's interesting how addictive it is. Like how you said, you look at it every 5 to 10 minutes, considering, like, and even then you say there's nothing interesting, even in all those 5 to 10 minute checks. It just goes to show that we're always wanting more as humans, and even when we don't get it, we're very susceptible to getting addicted to something if it gives us even a minor dopamine hit for a few seconds.
You know what's the biggest curse? Is YouTube recommended videos and that massive stream of just going into the dark hole of it, YouTube, where you just click up with one video after another and then you look, oh shit, it's 3:30 a.m.
It's a great hole to fall into, though. I reckon it's way better than just like scrolling on Facebook.
There's a good hole. It's the music version where you're just like, oh, Crystal Lake Apollo, fuck yeah, again, like, and it's like, oh, and then you find, oh, Emmanuel voices, and you just keep going down and down and down. It's like, damn it, recommended got me again, and then you end up watching an elephant give birth to lightning crashes by Live in the background. So yeah,
guy gets killed by a tiger in zoo or something.
yeah, and you
you
just
end up
all of
on
a sudden
Live
you're
Leak.
just like, what the hell just happened? But yeah.
Live leak.
Oh, remember when we used
Best
to...
score
I was about
sleepovers
to
at
say that. I was
George's.
about to say that. The best fun we ever have is when we finish band practice. We're just like, let's go watch best score. Like,
Oh my god.
Usually it's me that instigates that one.
yeah, it's always you. But then I'm
James,
like,
watch this video of this guy getting hit by a truck.
I think we went through that massive phase where I don't want to get freaking flagged on YouTube, but like, we watch certain
Stop.
things. Yeah, we watch certain things and we'll just end up watching a whole like series of it. So once again, that concentration factor, and then we're like, oh crap, we got to go back to jamming.
It's only smells.
Oh, that one. That's E-fucked, isn't it? Don't you have a shirt for that, George?
I do have an E-fuck shirt. Cost me $15.
What the
man.
hell has this
$15.
podcast become?
We just, this is welcome to the shit show. We talked about concentration being dropped, and here you go. Let's go back to a different topic. How supportive are our parents with this band? Very.
That's good, yeah. I know, yeah.
My parents have supported all my bands I've played in, but this one in particular, they really prefer the music to this one. I think
Yeah, same.
I think Illyria has that appeal to the oldies slightly, since it's a little bit more melodic and a little bit easier on the ears, a little less scary and aggressive.
It's that typical.
You were trying to make that sexy and it did not work.
It was that typical. The music's good, but the screaming is too much. You know what I mean? Like.
I just hate those screeching vocals.
Yeah, and the worst part is that your parents always talk to my parents about it, but my parents actually like metal.
Yeah.
So my dad's like got me into that screaming stuff very early on, and like my dad loves Death Heaven,
Yeah.
and like because he loves Death Heaven, I've always done that vocal as a sort of in a tribute sort of love to him. Like I remember we listened to like I think it was Sunbather or Dreamhouse, one of those songs where it has that big lead, that and Dad was like,
Copyright claim.
I would love it if you could write a song like with that lead, but it just goes for 2 minutes non-stop.
Yeah.
And I made Origins. So, you know,
Inspiration.
it was with love with my father. It was like, you know, I know that he loves that sound.
Yeah.
So I did that to make him happy.
Yeah, like the other day, my dad was listening to Dark Funeral.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Dark Funeral, and he said like the tremolo sounding guitar riffs that was like on the D string.
Hearing a drummer talk guitar is fucking hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going, yeah.
Yeah, like so sort of just like one string, just strumming really fast. He's like, "Oh, this sounds like bees to me," and I got immediately inspired to just write something that sounds like just fast tremolo for Dad. But I didn't actually end up writing that yet because I'm terrible at guitar.
Yeah,
So
we're
my
working on that.
We're working on it.
It took my parents a fair amount of time to take it seriously. I think it was like after the album came out, because I think I just told them out of the band like, "Oh yeah, you're just gonna go play some music. Yeah, that's cool." And then we did the shows, and then we did the album, and then they're like, oh, "Okay, yeah, okay, now this is actually a thing." But yeah, there's not too much. There's a little bit of encouragement, but not that much inspiration. I don't think about them when I make music.
Yeah, I think overall, all our parents are pretty much like, you know, they do rock up to the big shows. Like, they do come and support us.
They're all baby boomers, so they
Well,
don't-
my parents are Gen X, to be fair.
yeah, okay, mine are boomers.
Yeah, boomer. Yours, yours.
Gen X.
Gen X, yeah.
Nah, they're surely baby boomers.
No, they're not, eh?
How old are your parents?
My dad is. Fuck, I'm such a bad son.
If they're in their 50s, they're surely boomers.
No,
I think late 60s is like...
yeah. I, if I'm not mistaken,
Late 60s is the start of... end of baby boomers.
my parents are in their late 50s, so I think they're in the
Yeah,
the
they're
borderline.
Boomers. They're boomers.
Nah,
We'll sip to that.
Late 50s.
I'm looking this up right now, you guys.
Go.
I'm looking this up.
I'm right.
But we
you're
can't
wrong.
even... Anyways, the thing is that both my parents grew up in that... Like, they were, like, in the edge of high school in the early 90s. So they grew up with all that glam rock, all that glam metal.
Yeah.
And my uncles were like into Pantera when they first started, like when they were back when they were like glam as fuck. And they gradually saw Pantera get heavier and they followed. So like my father was more of a Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Def Leppard kind of guy. But all my uncles were into more like heavier stuff, like, and they were into quirky shit as well, like Primus. I know Matt has a raging hard on for Primus,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, Primus like weird. That's what I love.
but also, that was the early stages of when death metal was first starting and all
Yeah.
that grindcore and black metal was first starting. I mean, my parents weren't like at that level yet, but because I gradually progressed to that
They
and showed
came
them,
along with
and I went back to old school. Like I was showing them death and like this was alive when you were like 14. You know,
Yeah.
maybe a bit too young, but still, you know, when they were in high school, death was released,
Yeah.
and I showed them Crystal Mountain. They're just like, whoa, it still holds up to today.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
On another note, do we have any friends born in 1981? Do you know? Because like that is the final year of Gen X that I just looked up.
Yeah.
Is Zane in?
No,
Zane
no,
Blunt? Is
no,
it-
no.
Zane Blunt, you're an old cunt. Love you.
Yeah. Zane's not that old. Well, I'm 96. You're 96, aren't you? It's we're Gen Z.
What am I? I'm 95.
Yeah, you're the arse end of Gen Y.
Fuck it.
Yeah, you guys are 95s, aren't you? Yeah. See, that's the difference. That's the
When does
pivotal-
millennial start?
Gen Y is the millennials because they grew up like, whereas we're Gen Z. There we go.
Just let it out, man.
How do
Yeah.
you go from baby boomer to Generation X? Like those words sound nothing like each other. Who decided this? Well, what is it? What do they mean? Where do
I
they come
don't
from?
know, man, honestly. But you know what? I do love the memes we get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, the boomer memes are fucking hilarious right now. I mean, this podcast is a tribute to that. It's
Yeah.
just basically Gen Y and Gen Z shitting on old people.
So they deserve.
Yeah.
Welcome to Boomer Town.
Yeah.
That picture.
Thanks for not letting us ever buy houses for 20 grand, by the way. You guys are doing a great job. But yeah, it really shits me because my parents had me when they were 22, and I'm 22 now, and I feel like, what the fuck have I accomplished? They already owned a house.
Yeah.
They already like did everything, and I'm just like, oh.
Oh yes, the Western dream, mate. Fucking get a job, have some kids.
My
Get
dad
a
is literally.
house.
My dad is literally the. When I was your age, I was my age like that. You know what I mean? Like that straight up sort of thing, and like, you know. it's cool though that my parents are still young at heart. Like that. My dad gets all the memes. Like he's more popular than me on Facebook. Like he's probably more popular than Illyria on Facebook.
Remember
like, he gets
that
200
time-
likes on a fucking post. Like
I give them shit.
yeah.
Remember that time your dad got banned from Facebook for tagging you in horse fucking memes?
No. What happened
What
was
the hell?
no. Okay.
Gory.
So what happened is picture comments started coming out on Facebook, and my dad, I taught him how to finally post picture comments. So he decided to post on my status going, oh, I just taught my dad how to use picture comments. Get ready, everyone. And then my dad, first comment, he posts his horse porn. He posts two horses
incredible.
fucking, like this massive horse cock just going, and it, like literally the comment got like 100 and something likes, but obviously some prick reported it.
Yeah.
And dad got a 24-hour post block. So I don't think anyone at my age can actually like owed to the fact that my dad got zucked. And I've got zucked many times, you know.
That's a
I loved being an edgy meme lord back in the day, but yeah, those days are long gone. Sorry, I probably hate Ben. But yeah,
Edgy meme lord, fucking get a job.
yeah, I know. Sorry, Wesley. I'm gonna get doxxed. Nah, but the cool part is that, you know, it's really cool that this band, no matter what the climate is of the world in society or in politics, whatever like that, Illyria doesn't really want to meddle into that at all.
Yeah.
We sort of have that nice vision where we just literally everything about us is like nature, animals, pretty things. Like, you know, we don't really like to get too involved with like.
Well, politics ruins everything, and
Yes.
I'm not letting that happen to this band.
Nah.
Because it's going to give me severe.
I've seen lots of
Untreatable
bands.
diarrhea.
I've seen lots of bands and artists like let out their political views, and they will they just get shit on by half of their fans because everyone disagrees. Just stay neutral.
Even if
The music shouldn't be about that.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
even if it is something I agree with, I still cringe. I'm just like,
yeah, you don't
no
need
one cares.
to.
Just play some chords and make a cool sound.
You're not
Don't-
Rage Against the Machines. You can't do it anymore. It's done. Like, you know, fuck off. Like,
Born in the wrong generation.
you know.
My first band broke up because of political opinions.
Yeah.
Because I was like super left back then,
Oh, okay.
and
It happens to all of us,
Yeah,
dude. Don't
so
worry.
the-
We all go through that massive
so my
phase.
job got really annoyed at me. Like, fuck it, I'll leave. And
Yeah.
that
Was that
basically
with Dumpo?
No, that was before that. That was like in high school.
Yeah, but the
That
thing
band
is,
was like it was fun when they weren't high.
that's a lot of bands actually that I've been in. But no, the interesting thing is that if you let the music speak for itself and enjoy the beauty of the music, and you keep the lyrical content somewhat in a personal riddle, I guess is the word, and make people open it to their own interpretation, where they can relate to it in a different context. I've had people think the lyrics about Wonder is about breaking up with a girl or breaking up with a guy when it's actually about breaking up with a band.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I left it open, people can interpret how they wish. And when I hear people go, oh, you write songs about RuneScape, it's like, you only know it's about RuneScape because you play RuneScape. If someone listened to this without playing RuneScape, they wouldn't even know.
And
Hey, what
those
if they
that
do
do
with the
play
lyrics?
RuneScape, we wrote those songs for you, and we thank you for
Yeah.
recognizing that.
Yeah, because you know what? The best fun I ever had in primary school was leaving school, hopping on World 109, and chopping willows at Draenor until the fucking cows come home.
Best times, man. I remember like rushing home from school one day because like some kid at my school gave me his password to his RuneScape account
Don't ban us, Jagex, please. Yeah, you go.
in exchange for my pencils. And so I gave him my pencils.
What a fucking trade. That's a trade of the century.
I gave him my pencils, and I got his username, and then I just ended up biking home as fast as possible because I knew this sly cunt was going to go get on his computer as soon as he gets home and changes his password. So I just went on his profile, and at school this guy was like, yeah man, I got fucking Rune Scimitar, got like all that shit. And then I go on his account, friggin' Training World or whatever it's called, fucking noob. Hasn't even left
yeah.
Tutorial Island.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it's called, Tutorial Island. Hasn't been around for a
Training
while.
World.
Training World.
Holy moly.
What a noob. Who am
Yeah.
I?
Shiver me
Nah, but
timbers.
that there's different levels of commitment to RuneScape in this band. There's the ones that played as a kid, and
Yeah.
there's sad fucks like me who still played on their phone. But yeah,
I would totally play it if I was an Android user. Fuck iPhone for not having.
it's gonna come out
RuneScape.
soon, I think. It's gonna come out on Halloween, pretty sure.
Good.
But yeah, there goes productivity.
There goes girlfriend.
Yeah.
Joking.
Sorry, Courtney.
I'm not
See you
joking.
later.
But not really.
I've got a RuneScape GF now. and I was speaking on Matt's behalf. But yeah, the most cool part about our band is that that's literally the only criticism we got in the first album of Sputnik Music, was someone going, I can't take this seriously because the lyrics are about RuneScape. And it's like, oh, don't take us seriously.
Too bloody bad for you then.
Yeah. Oh man. Imagine actually taking music seriously.
Imagine getting offended at something you don't like.
Oh. Yeah, I know. We live in a society.
And that is all, folks.
All right, buddy. Thanks for everyone's. Thanks for everyone's input.
Thank you for having us, man. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was
cheers.
quite fun.
Now let's go drink solo.
Let's
Yeah.
go drink solo
Because drinking alcohol in the afternoon is very bad.
yes.
Thanks
Nah,
for having
nah,
us,
kidding.
man.
Do it if you want.
And
No worries.
looking forward to seeing you in the Authorcast in the future.
Yeah,
No worries.
we'll do.
All right. We're Illyria. Please go follow us on the links in the description. And
Thank you,
feel
George.
free to listen to us on Bandcamp. George, please. I swear to God, you do that all the time.
We should sample that.
Yeah. He's doing the Pleiades intro. But yeah.
Yeah, thanks for listening, buddy. Why do I keep saying buddy? I'm an idiot.
Oh, now you got some editing to do.
No, fuck it.
Yeah,
it's
leave it
one take.
unedited.
Leave it raw. It's one take. I don't give a shit. All right, couch.